Welcome back, disc golf fans, to the back nine of the second round of the 2017 Idlewild Open. Big Julie commentary. Got myself, Jeremy Koling, and Paul Ulibarri in the commentary studio today. And we've got a really lively card so far. Nate Perkins, 5 down in the front nine, coming out on fire. Andrew Presnell, up-and-coming player from Kansas. Got Drew Gibson, always entertaining, cool Drew Gibson. And of course, we got Robot Chicken, Chris Dickerson from Tennessee, out here showing us how to do robotic things in the back nine. Starting off on a daunting 368-foot tight tunnel, uphill, par 3 if you want to call it that. You could also call it a par 5. It is a very tricky hole.
Yeah, and they going with the sidearm here.
Man, look at this guy, man.
And he is just lacing. He's just lacing the fairway, and that's a smart shot that he throws there. You can get this if you go power shot, and I'm curious to see what Drew does here. This is his really flippy disc, I believe.
Oh, and he just pures it right down the middle. If that can avoid trees, he's going to be up there. Man, and that was right down the middle, and he is still, I don't know if that was an intentional layup, but he is not really in putting green or putting area.
That's just a great drive also from Andrew right there.
We haven't even seen a tree hit yet on this hole.
These guys are all laying up. This is a fairway driver from Chris Dickerson. This is surprising to me.
I think that was a driver, actually. And he is the first one to actually square a tree, which is kind of impressive to see. Only the fourth shot hit a tree on this hole. I mean, there's just so many of them. And
wow.
What an incredible save there from Chris. There's so much in the way. It's not just throwing a simple hyzer. He had to throw the right angle at the right width there to be able to avoid the trees in the way that he wanted to. So that was a really nice approach on his part.
Yeah, and this lead card showing you how they got here. They're just playing position golf, which is impressive on this hole because, you know, they have the power to get up and get a look, I feel like. And so, yeah, just sticking to their game plan, which is good. And Drew's probably going to just throw this one in again. No.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the front nine yet, stop this video, go back, watch the front nine. And Drew had a nice little highlight in there. Also, you get to see how Nate Perkins just absolutely shredded the front nine with just so many gaps. I mean, there's a lot more open in the front nine, but his shots were just, so far this round, he has been on point.
Andrew misses his putt for par there and then cleans up the bogey. I'm sure he's not pumped about that, but Nate pops it in for par, and it looks like everybody's going to take par except for Andrew, so it's a typical score, I feel like, on this hole.
That might be even better than typical, honestly. You're not going to see many cards come through this hole playing it at par or even under par. I'm sure there's very few. There must be, I would imagine there's less than 5 birdies in this hole so far in the tournament. But yeah, 1 over isn't so bad for the card, but I'm sure Andrew would like to have that putt back.
And we get to hole 11, 192 feet. One of the shorter holes on the course, if not the shortest.
Oh, it's the shortest by 50, 60 feet.
Okay, yeah. And then it's right there in front of you. What you want to do is you want to throw it, probably hit right before the basket. It has a little barrier there. That's what I aim at.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think hitting that wall there is the right play just because you have an uphill putt with no worries. If you get above the basket, you're going to have a little bit more of a death putt, especially with that elevated basket.
Looked like Nate put it on a good line, but caught that guardian tree to the right and kind of kicked him in the woods. I'm not so sure if he's going to have a look or not. And Drew doing exactly what we just said, just playing for the wall. And that's a 25-footer uphill, but he's a good putter. I think he's 97% in the circle right now. So
okay, 97%
for the tournament.
And Chris Dickerson plays it really well too. He's going to be probably 20 feet, 22 feet. That's pretty much exactly how you draw it up.
Yeah, I think the most difficult thing about this hole, besides the gap, is it just lines up for that ace. And so you get lulled into thinking, okay, I'm going to give this an ace run. And if you give it an ace run, you're going to go past, and then you're going to have that super difficult putt down. And so you kind of have to make a decision to
And just Tickle's chain, that would have been a great pickup from in the woods there. He was probably about 30 feet there. I think he was just inside the circle. And it was a good job on the lead card to avoid any catastrophic kicks or anything like that off the tee. It is a pretty open gap. It's not that long of a hole, but I feel like usually on most cards you're going to see at least one person miss the gap and end up having to save a par or get a bogey. And Andrew's now dropped 2 putts inside the circle. He'd like to have those back for sure.
And Drew showing that 97% in the circle and just making it look really easy, cleaning that up. You could see him just look straight up at the basket, too. That was not an easy putt, even though he's, only probably 18, 20 feet. But
Nate's just cruising along. You don't want to par this hole, but you don't want to bogey it either. So anything, like we said before in the front 9, anything par or better, I mean, it's just, if you can stay away from those red numbers, you're doing good.
And he's just relieved to put that one in. You can tell that he's a little off with the putter stroke. Hopefully he can get that back on the next few holes. That's
dangerous to have that feeling. I know I can definitely sympathize with this feeling here. And missing a couple of birdie putts, or a par putt and then a birdie putt, that anxiety that starts to build up is not what you need coming into the back half of this course. The last third of this course is so demanding. And if you're not mentally in it, you can bleed strokes left and right, literally. And so it's very important to put those missed putts behind him, and that way he can attack this last part of the course. And Drew with a rare forehand, and man, he was probably only 6 inches off from throwing it perfect there, to be honest.
Yeah, and that just shows you that this is definitely a left to right hole.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to throw a right-handed backhand down to a good spot. And both of these players pulling their sidearms. This hole, it looks like a big fairway, but there are guardian trees down there at the end where you're trying to turn right, and that's why they're hugging this left side. And Nate pulls that early, and I'm curious to see if he holds on to the fairway. He does a little bit, but he's still tight. And you want to be more left so that you have the hyzer approach into this green.
Yeah, I mean, when you step up to this, your disc golf instincts tell you, all right, just get around the corner, I'll be good. But it's much more than that, because you have the cluster on the left side, where Nate landed on the right side. There's a couple trees in the way. So there's so many things that make this hole difficult from tee to green. And the tee shot is so demanding, and this is not what you want. Where Drew is here is going to be a pitch out sideways, I imagine, because it is so thick in the rough here.
And it looked like Chris actually had some sort of route out there, but awkward footing, and he pulls it and hits another tree. I'm curious to see if he's even going to be able to advance from there.
Yeah.
In practice, I thought that this was going to play a lot easier than it does.
Yeah.
But it's one of the more difficult birdies on the course for sure.
I have the same feeling about this course. So many of these holes seem like pretty routine par 4s in practice, but when it came time to play, wow, look at this guy. He is just cruising. When it came time to play these holes, they showed how difficult they really are. And hats off to the tournament staff for the amount of work they've done cleaning up these fairways, because apparently they are much better than they normally are for casual play. But man, I mean, it seems like you go from fairway to intense rough in about 2 feet.
Yeah, you can see Drew's just barely off the, 15, 20 feet off the fairway right there. And
he still managed to advance the disc, which is impressive, but he's still way out of range, I feel like.
Yeah. And Andrew, that looks like a really good line. Oh, but it's a little speedy, and it's going to catch that edge and roll. And at this point, the course is just coming after poor Andrew,
Yeah, poor guy. But, I mean, look at this place. You have all those trees to contend with, a very precarious tee shot to land in the right spot. And then if you don't, you have a tricky second shot. And then once you get all past that, then you have a sloped green. And if you're just a little bit too long, then
or short,
then you pick up and you roll. I mean, so it is so every shot is so demanding.
And even if you do put it in the circle, you're not guaranteed to have a putt like this. Like, he's straddling out Anheuser putt, and there he goes with the... Oh my gosh.
Man.
And he didn't even get the SloMez. That's just him in his natural
That was actually
habitat.
full speed. You're right. That was a misnomer with the graphic there. That was actually just real speed. And look at Nate picking up the birdie on hole 12. That is the first birdie I've witnessed on this hole. And I mean, I
mean, he played it perfect though. He threw the sidearm exactly where he needed to put it, and he had a fairly easy upshot. He caught a good break on the green, and he made his putt. I mean, that's how you have to do it on that hole. You almost have to catch a good break in order to.
Wow. 6 down through 12 holes. He's birdied half the holes so far. He's off to the races here, and coming into hole 13, which is arguably the hardest par 3 in the history of sports, not just disc golf and golf too. It is an incredibly difficult par 3.
Yeah, you have this double mando. You can see on the tee, it really just makes the gap. You have to make that double mando. The tee pad actually is sloped downwards that you can't see, and it causes you to almost pull it. Like, you'll see these guys really push that right side because I think the tee is sloped down.
Look at this guy.
And he's just on point right now. He's in the zone.
That's perfection right there. I mean, there's no point in trying to throw anything faster than that, trying to get down there. The name of the game in this hole is just hit this gap, and then please God, don't go in the creek. And that's what Drew did. He went in the creek.
And he made the mando too, and that just shows you how difficult the hole is. It kind of sucks you to the left where all the OB is.
Yep.
And you're so worried about getting through this mandatory. You see him pull it again, and hopefully.
Please God, please dog, don't go in the creek.
Creek.
No, creek.
But I think it makes you worry about the mandatory so much that you're not even thinking. Yeah, you're not even thinking about ending up left. You just want to make it through.
My main criticism with this hole isn't so much the design. I think the design is incredible. I love the wide tree right there. My only problem with the hole is the fact that there is a double mando. I doesn't need it for play. I mean, you're trying to hit that gap anyways. And then the drop zone forces you to get a double bogey. It forces you to get a 5. There's really no way to get up and down from where he is at that drop zone because you haven't even made it around the corner yet.
Yeah, basically, if you go out of bounds, you're getting a double bogey.
Yeah, there's really no way to get a score better than 5.
Even where Drew went, he made the mando, he went OB. But look at this shot that he has to throw into the green. Like, you're getting
the risk reward there. He went for it. He saw the gap. But man, sometimes when you're out of position like that and you've already gone OB off the tee, you have to take your medicine and just lay up. And Chris there is with a nice approach shot. He's going to have a tap-in par, they say. But really, I mean, not that it really so much matters what the number says. The hole plays like a par 4. It plays like a true par 4, and that's really all that matters. And Nate plays it just perfectly, and that's going to be a tap-in. Can we call it party?
Yeah.
It's like a par birdie. We'll call it a party.
Yeah, he's partying for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And then there's a layup for the 5, and Drew would like for this to go in for 5, but he is about 80 feet away.
Puts it on a good line.
Drew
he gets it in.
Are you kidding me?
This kid is putting on a putting clinic for us. Sidearm, Anheuser, 60-footers.
Oh my gosh.
Good for him, man. This is how you keep a round going. You know?
Wow.
He throws it OB 2 times and then just throws up a prayer, it goes in, and he's just you know?
You ever heard the expression that cool guys don't watch explosions? I feel like cool guys don't run into their jump putts. Like if they make a putt from 80 feet, you walk it in slowly. And you wear glasses in the woods. And Drew did both of those.
Yeah, and he's still got a double bogey, though. It was the coolest double bogey I've ever seen.
Oh, Nate taps in his par, and Andrew gets his putt. Oh, Chris got a 5. I must have missed it. Did he? Oh, he went OB with the creek.
Lifetime warranty, and 1% back to the planet. Tempercraft USA. Temper your thirst.
On to hole 14. Wow, would you look at that? There's a bunch of trees, and there are a lot of them all the way up into the green. Really requires a pinpoint accurate forehand off the tee, and if you don't have that, you better have some really interesting tricks in the sleeve, up your sleeve, because this hole really makes a shot. You need to have a disc that finishes off to the right. And wow, I mean, no surprise really, but he is just making this look way easier than it is.
Yeah, when I said he was 4th in fairways hit, I don't understand how he's not number 1. He has not missed a shot, really.
I mean, the fairways hit is really up for interpretation to who's taking stats, so he could be 1 or 2. I mean, there's times when I feel like you're in the fairway and you're not in the fairway, but that's just another conversation. Drew is not in the fairway. Drew hit a tree, and he is in a bad place to be. I guess if you are going to miss, if you're going to have a tree kick, you prefer it to be right. Or, I mean left, excuse me. That way you can have a better angle to get down there for your second shot.
And that looks mashed.
Yeah. If that can miss the trees, it just didn't quite miss the trees, unfortunately.
But he's going to have something from there. Like you said, you want to be left, and that kind of widens the fairway for your approach.
Yep.
So he might have a look, even though he is off the fairway.
This is such a trick. And you see, I mean, you can see that Andrew's trying to figure out a way to make this hole work. Uncomfortable with going forehand off the tee is really going to make this hole very difficult.
And Drew has a small gap. He puts it on a good line, but he is advancing, which is good. And he should be at the bottom there, able to probably have a shot to pitch up and get par.
Andrew does go with the forehand for the second shot.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, nice release there, and actually maybe a good tree kick. That looked like the disc might be veering towards that creek, but who knows? It could have been heading for the green too.
Look at this wall that he has to go through.
Yeah.
And he throws it absolutely perfect.
Go. Wow, what a shot from Chris Dickerson. That's a top 10 nominee right there. That was a beautifully executed shot.
And Drew with another sidearm and also getting through everything.
Oh, wow.
And that's just a great.
Yeah.
He has a little work. No, well, he checked up pretty good.
Yeah, he's got no more than 20 feet there, and I mean, if anything from the last 2 putts says what he's going to do here, I'm pretty sure that's a tap in for him.
And he throws this all the way down there. Perfect shot, and that's what this hole does to you.
Gosh.
You could throw a perfect drive, and you still have a lot of work to do. I mean, you saw Chris's upshot, Drew's upshot. You have to beat a bunch of trees.
And you know what? Par is just fine. I mean, he was in position. He threw a great tee shot, gave himself a look. But if you're just a little bit too far right on this tee shot, you're not going to have a look. And I'm sure Andrew and Drew are both going to be really happy to get out of this hole with pars if he makes his putt, and he does. Okay. And I don't know what he's doing that for. Has he had a spit out recently?
Maybe the Star Wars thing he said about
that wasn't him. That was Nate.
Oh.
Nate had the Star Wars spot. All right, and Chris this is for his birdie with the incredible second shot. And
he's a great putter. He really is.
Yeah, that's why I call him Robot Chicken. He has the same routine every single time. It's just robotic, and he loves chicken.
I figured that.
Yeah.
It was either that or he was scared of a bunch of stuff.
No, he loves chicken. That's all he eats.
Okay.
Andrew getting out of there with a nice par. This is a tricky hole for a right-hand only player, or right-hand backhand player. Actually, just right-handed people in general.
We had 1 birdie and 3 really good pars.
Yeah, Nate might like to throw that second shot again, but I mean, there's a lot of trees in the way, so I'm sure you're happy with any pars on this back 9. And hole 15.
One of the more difficult tee shots on the course.
Certainly.
But it's right there in front of you. If you can throw any disc 300 feet dead straight, that's what you want to do on this hole. And then you have a left to right approach into a heavily wooded green.
Yeah. Added benefit if you can throw it 300 feet straight and finish left. It'll open up your second shot that much more.
And it's extremely uphill.
Yeah. And really hitting that gap between those 2 trees, that's a decent position. That is exactly what you're looking for. Maybe a little bit lower off the tee than Chris would have liked, but ended up with a good result. And you see Nate, I think Nate was really forcing the issue trying to stay left. It's a decent roll as well. He's going to be kind of far for a second shot.
He should be able to save par from there.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he could even give himself a good birdie look.
And that's picture perfect for what you want to do. He threw that absolutely fantastic, especially for a right-handed backhand.
Oh, in the early tree, the skinny one kicks him off to the right. He's gonna be out of position. This is gonna be difficult. You can see all the foliage and all the large trees in the way. Advancing is gonna be difficult. And oh no.
That was not a good kick.
That was not
and
a good
left
kick.
is probably worse than right, which
Yeah.
is tough to say, but it looks like he's going with the overhand just to get back to the other side of the rough.
Oh no.
And he's having a tough time.
Yeah. And you can see how uphill the second shot is, and that's high. Oh no. No, don't do that.
And he pulls it and he gets that kick to the left, but
Yeah. It's nice to be able to throw the forehand here, but you have to, when you're throwing that far uphill, you can't throw it high. You have to keep it low, only a couple feet off the ground at max. And he pulled it just a bit there. Probably the first time we've seen Nate throw back-to-back shots that weren't exactly what he was looking for.
And Chris is in great position here to get the birdie.
Yeah. And he's put it right up there, right in a great position there.
Yeah, and I expect him to make that 99% of the time.
That's what we on the playground say all day. All day, son.
Too easy.
Oh, and Drew pulls it. Unfortunate shot there after really that great tee shot put him in perfect position for his birdie. And oh no.
And Nate's showing his first mistake of the entire round.
Yeah, it's showing some human side, which is tough to see, but also kind of relieving because it's.
And Drew's gonna have to. He's gonna have a lot of work to save bogey, I believe.
Save par. His tee shot was great. His second shot hit the tree.
Right.
And then,
Pardon me.
So Nate will be tapping his first bogey of the round, which is crazy to say that he's gone 14 holes clean out here, but he has done that so far.
But really, the last 5 holes are the hardest on the course, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And here's Drew. He just knows already. That was.
He walked before he released it.
Yep, he knew. He even got the SloMez.
Wow, he is putting on a putting clinic.
Good. Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And a great birdie there from Chris Dickerson.
I would
Well
have
done.
felt so bad if he missed it. I'm like 99.9%, and he just airballs it. I'm like,
No, Chris makes good from there. I don't think I've ever seen him miss a putt from inside 22 feet.
No.
So he continues that streak there, and Andrew's going to have to make this the... Oh, goodness. The troubles continue for Andrew on the putting green, and that's going to be a big number.
Yeah, those are the mistakes that you just can't make, especially after, going left, right down the fairway. You have to, those are the easy ones, the 12, 15-footers that become very difficult at the end of a hole like that.
Yeah.
And, unfortunate to see him go through that, but, we've all been there.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of everything there, but, I mean, now Andrew is over par for the tournament, which is tough when he started off 5 under after the first round. And we're getting to a hole that's just unique to the rest of the course. We have a wide open 900 plus foot, 969 feet, par 5, OB right, OB left in the tall grass. And this is really fun. I mean, you're going tight shot, technical, everything. You're throwing flip ups, and now you get to really unleash a shot and let the disc fly.
Yeah, and the objective here is just get anything in bounds. And when I say that is, you're not looking for big distance.
Oh, no.
And he catches an unfortunate skip. Usually they'll kind of die off right there, but
this grass is pretty fast. We've seen some skips on this fairway so far, but the right-hand hyzer is a good play because the hill does slope to your advantage.
And this looks boomed.
And that needs to sit down as well. It looks like it's trying to get left. And does it check up? It looks like it did. Wow, he threw it far enough that it has avoided the OB line. Yeah. And like you said, the tee shot is get one in bounds. The second shot you can unleash and throw it as far as you want. But as long as you can get the first one in bounds, you're in a good position. And that's got to slow down too. That's going pretty hard left. And he as well gets the skip OB. Yeah,
that's a easy mistake to make here. You don't want to give the hole away and go OB right, because then you're way back. You're way back of the fairway, and then it becomes an extremely difficult hole. So they made mistakes, but they're the right mistakes to make on the hole, I believe.
And I don't know if that was the intent right there for Andrew.
That was the biggest, tallest hyzer I've ever seen.
I think he may have slipped on the tee a bit there. That seemed a little bit uncharacteristic for the way that he normally throws. And Nate throws a pretty nice looking recovery shot. As long as it doesn't skip left, I think he's perfectly fine in the middle of the fairway there. But he's going to have a really tricky approach to the green from there. It's going to be quite fast.
To save par.
And this is hanging out pretty wide. That needs to swing left quick.
Looks like it is.
Yes,
he had the distance.
Yeah. The OB stops where you see that tall grass cut right at the end of the fairway. Everything beyond the tall grass is safe, so it allows the players to really open up on the second shot.
And Chris is going to have no problem getting the distance with this. He has a lot of power.
Yeah.
And he gets down there almost inside circle too.
Yeah, he'll have about a 70-foot putt for his birdie, actually, after going OB off the tee shot.
And Drew's way down the fairway.
He's probably checking up with the fairway driver here. Maybe even a mid-range.
Yeah, and that looks like it's on a good angle. He might even be inside circle two.
Yeah, right around the edge there, putting for eagle. That's a nice, well played through 2 shots.
Yeah, to have any sort of eagle look on this course is incredible.
Oh no!
It tried its very best to stay in bounds, and even though he went OB,
he's going to be inside the circle putting for his 6, I believe.
Bogey. So not what he was looking for, but he can still salvage a 6 here, and he's playing so good that that's not going to hurt his score too bad.
No.
Chris giving this a really good bid. Chain high going by. I mean, that's all we're looking for as professionals when you're that far away. Yep. Looked like Drew had a tough, difficult putt there, and he didn't leave it short, so that's good to see. He'll have an easy birdie. And he keeps his streak going.
Yeah. There it is. He just stabs it right in there. Right in the center. Low, so it doesn't have a chance to do anything silly. Great. That's a great bogey putt there. I mean, he does fall back a stroke there. Last 2 holes, bogey. But you know what? It could have been worse. And I think that he has to keep that in perspective because there's just so many things that can go wrong on these last holes here. And there's nothing wrong with just a single bogey when you've played so well so far.
Ooh, and leaks it a little right, but it catches, and he makes a good birdie.
Yep.
Drew just kind of hanging around and making some good putts, saving his round with his putting for sure.
Absolutely.
This round.
And Chris is going to tap in his par. which isn't a bad score at all when you go be off the tee shot. Second shot gave him a nice look at the long puffer birdie, but Drew capitalizes, gets his birdie. And Andrew with a nice save for his par as well after going OB. So only one casualty on hole 16. Hole 17 might be the only hole that I know of that is over 400 feet, straight pretty much the whole way, and there's OB 12 different times in the middle of the fairway.
Yeah,
It's very unique.
If you throw a perfect shot, your disc is out of bounds, inbounds, out of bounds, inbounds, out of bounds, inbounds, and then out of bounds. There's no way to throw it inbounds on this hole.
We'll see if they do. Yeah, it's very, very tricky. There's, as you mentioned this earlier, coming into this hole. Oh, come on.
See what I'm saying? Like, it was inbounds, out of bounds, inbounds.
Oh,
I think the exact amount of times that I said.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
out of bounds.
If you're playing well and you come into this hole, really if you come into the last stretch of this course, there's no way to preserve your score. There's no way to protect your score and to play for par. You have to play a certain amount of aggressive. Oh my gosh. And he's inside the circle though, putting for his 3, which is very impressive actually.
Inbounds, out of bounds, inbounds, out of bounds,
Yep.
out of bounds.
But you just have to just try to hit the gaps and see if the course is going to be your friend or not. And this shot looks incredible.
Come on.
Oh my gosh. That is heartbreaking to watch. I mean, that was just as beautiful as you can really throw that shot, and hits the bridge, kicks him back OB. And if there is a safe play in this hole, well, it would be that one if he didn't get the kick OB. Oh my goodness. The only thing that I can say is somewhat a safe play is if you try to throw off to the right. If you can throw a forehand that skips off to the right, that's the best way to play this hole.
They're pushing you to the rough.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Here.
And that was an incredibly touchy, well-executed approach shot to get his bogey there. Nate's going to have a little tap in there for his 4, which is pretty good after that unfortunate kick. And we got a par here putt. Yes.
And that looked like it was just outside the circle.
Oh, yeah. That's a good 35, 40-foot putt there from Andrew.
Yeah, and I looked at his stats earlier today, and he's actually top 10 in putting outside the circle, so it's no surprise to see him make that one.
And Chris taps in his par as well. Those are great pars. I mean, 3 on the score it really does feel like a birdie in a way. I mean, a lot of times par doesn't feel that rewarded.
It's such a ridiculous hole. We just saw 3 of the best tee shots that I've seen on the hole, and they all 3 went out of bounds.
Yeah.
And the only person, did they all go OB?
All 4 tee shots went OB. So it's tough because the hole is maybe one of the top 10 most beautiful holes you'll ever play. Just in terms of aesthetically, it is absolutely beautiful with the creek running through. But the way it plays is just, it's gnarly to say the least. But nice par putts there from Chris and Andrew.
Parties.
Yeah, parties, exactly. And on to hole 18, which is, I think, number 3 in the handicap. And just to clarify, I am making up these handicaps as I go. I'm not exactly sure if it is the 3rd hardest hole in the course, but I'm assuming that it is just by the way it plays. Anyways, back to the hole. You have this really tight tunnel shot, and if you can keep it in the middle, you're gonna have a lot of fun thoughts. I don't know what to say. It's just a really difficult thing to do. And Chris does not keep in the middle, and he gets one of those kicks that Idlewild seems to hand
dish out.
Yeah, they just dish them out so freely. And I'd say if there is one hole in the course, maybe above all else, where a solid backhand, right-hand backhand is more beneficial than having a solid forehand, it might be this hole. I feel like if you can throw the backhand...
Ooh, and Drew pulls it a little bit.
Maybe he gets lucky, though. Oh, my gosh. Wow, luck of the Irish, even though I don't think he is. That was incredibly fortunate. But, yeah, if you can finish off to the left side of the center side of the fairway, it's certainly more beneficial than finishing off to the right side. It opens up the gap for the second shot a lot more.
And here's Chris just playing smart and pitching out to the fairway. His scramble skills are really good. I think he's 11th in scramble rate on the tour for this tournament. So, and that just shows you why. He's just pitching out and playing smart. And let's see if he can somehow salvage a good score on 18.
Yeah, and especially after taking a 6 on this hole to finish yesterday, I'm sure that was going through his mind when he got that kick off the tee shot. So he's trying to do whatever he can to avoid a big number again, and that's not the best way to do that. He's going to be off in the rough on the left side inside one of those Idlewild tents. We'll see if he can get out of it.
Let's see if Drew can take advantage of this good break. I mean, that's what you need when you're playing on the lead card. You need to take advantage of these.
Wow.
When you get a good break. Yeah, and that's a... I don't think I've seen a birdie on the hole yet.
Yeah, it's not easy. Just such a difficult hole, and I don't want to stir up any controversy, but it looked like there might have been a foot fault on Drew's second shot there, but I don't know. What's the point of saying that?
Oh, just to be a negative Nancy, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. And Andrew just hits one of those two guardian pines that they're just placed in the perfect spot to make you really... You have to keep those in mind the whole time, because if you hit those, you're still going to be outside the circle. And Chris is going to have a long way to go to get his 5. Otherwise, he's going to finish 6-6 on this whole in consecutive rounds.
Oh, and just a nice little kick up.
Look at that.
Just tap it in and...
Beautiful. Oh, okay. All right. I like the FollowFlights when they hit stuff because you get to see the little bounce. That was nice.
Yeah, that is cool. So he'll have his tap in for par.
I believe, yeah.
And to finish up a great round.
Absolutely. Just a couple of slip-ups there. 3 bogeys in a row. Other than that, he was just steamrolling through the course.
And that's not terrible on those holes. I mean, you can see way worse scores coming in. And Drew just inside the circle. Let's see if he can capitalize here with and he does. Incredible birdie.
Picks up 3 on Chris on this hole, and I mean, he's picking up an average of at least 2 strokes on the field. I'd be surprised if this hole we're playing any less than over 5.
And that just
average.
goes to show you if you can putt well on a course like this, you're gonna save shots. You're gonna save your score,
right.
And that's exactly what Drew did there. So it was a great demonstration of keeping your composure and finishing up with some good putting.
Andrew, maybe a little bit extra oomph there on that tap-in putt for bogey to finish his disappointing round, but the story of the round is Nate Perkins is playing really solid golf for 15 holes. Comes out at 8 under. He's going to be in first place going into the final round. We got James Cole making a big move, shooting a 7 under yesterday. Went from 2 over to 5 under. Paul McBeth makes a move. We're going to have an exciting lead card. Last round, one more round to go here at the Idlewild Open. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks to Jomez. Thanks to Innova Champion Discs. Thanks to the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you come back tomorrow and check out the final round coverage of the 2017 Idlewild Open.